Welcome back to Bombastic Nation and Ting and Ting and Ting. Back with another vibe for all you. We will keep going with these mythological dark legends. And I tell you what, I was going through there and Ting, and I see this one and it says 10 Dark Canadian Legends. Dark is the last thing you think about when you think of Canada. I know it's snowy up there, depending on where you are, and it's kind of gloomy. But dark legends is not something that you equate Canada with. So, I was like, hey, this could be interesting here. Let's see what they have this reputation of being passive. Let's see what they do with their legends and mythology up there. Let's YouTube and simmer.
When you think of Canada, I doubt dark legends spring to mind, but many call the country home. It's not as young a country as some think. Native legends often have their roots in forgotten places. Since colonization, these stories have been put in writing, as have more recent tales of ghost ships and strange monsters. Canadian history is rich in dark legends. On Vancouver Island is a highland known as the Forbidden Plateau. In times of tribal conflict, local natives once hid their families in the plateau to keep them safe during battle. But one day, while at the plateau, the warriors' families disappeared. Returning to find their loved ones missing, they discover strange markings. Religious leaders said these markings were not of this world, and from that day onward, entry to the area was forbidden as evil spirits are known to inhabit it. Still today, some people warn that entry to the plateau brings risk that you will be captured and taken to the spirit world, never to be seen again. The Gibraltar Point Lighthouse is one of Toronto's oldest buildings. In the early 19th century, the lighthouse keeper lived an isolated existence. It's said that one dark night, a group of soldiers in need of shelter approached the lighthouse. They were reluctantly welcomed inside by the keeper, but it wasn't long after the keeper opened his door that they brutally murdered him. His corpse was cut into numerous pieces and hidden so effectively that no one could be charged with his murder. In the coming centuries, subsequent keepers reported strange occurrences at the lighthouse. It would begin with the sound of ghostly moaning. Following the sounds, bright lights would be seen floating through the air. They lead to the various burial sites of the murdered keeper, but his remains were never entirely recovered, and the deranged ghost of the keeper now torments those who approach at night.
When I was growing up, there was a lighthouse right down a couple of miles from where I live, man. And I'm telling you, lighthouse is a kind of a eerie thing to begin with anyway. So imagine having a murder story and a ghost to roam in it. I remember watching that lighthouse, you know what I mean, from afar, and in the moon shining over it and stuff. Now, the older I get, the more I appreciated it. But then I always thought, is there a ghost? Did some pirates crash land by that lighthouse, or some ship crash land there, and you know what I mean? The ghosts are roaming that point.
John Troyer was an American exorcist who operated in Ontario. He intended to be a doctor rather than an exorcist, but while in Canada it said he discovered a group of witches casting spells in the area. From that moment he dedicated his life to fighting evil. Local legend tells of various adventures he embarked on because of this. One story describes how he followed one witch to find out where the witches meet for their rituals. On finding their den, he massacred the witches, killing them and stealing their broomsticks, with which he would fly to distant lands and kill more witches.
Here's a question. I've heard different variations of this. Are witches evil? Do they cast spell? Or are witches just a part of a wrong-gone religion that's been demonized so that it doesn't counter the religion that's prevalent in that culture at the time? Because, I mean, when you think of voodoo, you kind of think of the same thing. You know what I mean? That stuff was demonized so that the slaves wouldn't use their religion to come together and revolt. And these did say they were like sort of native stuff, you know what I mean? But are they real? Was it a religion of peace and then demonized, like so many religions were? Or is it just mythology?
In 1978, one man claimed to discover an underground world of monsters. According to his story, he was looking for a missing kitten in Toronto when he climbed through a mysterious entrance. On the other side, he found a dark underground tunnel. 10 paces into the tunnel, he noticed a human-like figure. It was just 3 foot tall and covered in fur. Its eyes were bright red, glowing in the darkness. He was frozen with fear until the creature told him to leave, and with that instruction he ran out of the tunnel. Newspaper reports of his claims led to speculation a city of monsters exists under Toronto, but as the man has forgotten where the entrance was, his claim can't be debunked entirely.
They have a werewolf too?
In the mid-1700s, the people of Quebec were living in fear of terrible monsters. Reports that a werewolf was roaming eastern Quebec scared people from leaving urban areas. On dark nights, the Wolfman emerges from its underground den to hunt humans. Any lone people spotted by the beast would surely be devoured. It was said to be dangerous enough to kill 20 men at once. In 1766 and 67, local newspapers reported on various attacks and sightings. It really seemed that at least one werewolf was on the loose in Quebec, but then encounters with the beast stopped being reported. Popular opinion held that it died. Some even said it was killed by a hunter.
French influence. Sokunya, Loup-garou. That's the French influence because it was in Quebec, like they say. So you see the parallel there? The parallel, I should say. You see the parallel. See, the French have their werewolf, which translated to the islands having their werewolf, the Sokunya and the Loup-garou, and here is a French-Canadian werewolf. It's funny how everything just sort of come together. I guess it depends on who is the colonizers of the area. Their cultures and tends to permeate through the culture. I mean, this is some fascinating stuff, all here. Fascinating stuff. Just link everything up. We're not that different.
Shortly after midnight, they were interrupted by the local priest. At midnight, the man had revealed himself as the devil and intended to take her back to hell with him, but the priest scared him away with a cross and holy relics. It was only the next day when Rose was well enough to realize what had happened. She became a nun soon after.
Oh, what a nicely spun story to stop young girls from going out dancing and having fun. that was genius in a certain way. If you go there dancing, the devil is going to take over you. He's going to try to grab you and whisk you away and make you his bride. So don't turn and be a nun. Wow, nice spin.
The Toronto subway opened in 1954 and has since become associated with countless urban legends.
Sorry about that there. I got excited. Woo. You know what I mean and thing. But let's continue.
Legends are especially associated with the many abandoned stations only now seen by workers and urban explorers. They say if you find your way into some of these lost stations, you may see a woman walking slowly, pacing up and down the platforms. She is alone in the darkness looking down at the floor, but when she hears your approaching footsteps, she will immediately face you. Her eyes glow bright red and she is no longer pacing. She wears a red dress as bright as her glowing eyes, and as you notice the color of her eyes, you will only want to run away. She is the Lady in Red, a deadly ghost known to haunt the abandoned stations.
There's a lady in red, a lady in white, a lady in black in almost every cultural folklore. Every one of them, you'll find a lady in red, a lady in black, or a lady in white. Canada's got the lady in red. And what's this with the train station scary stuff? You know what I mean? A quiet, empty place is scary as it is without somebody telling you some story about some ghost lady in red walking in the dark. But you know, this is some fascinating stuff. Yeah, man, I like this stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoying this stuff with me, man. This stuff is kind of cool. You know what I mean? But keep watching, man, because I got all kinds of stuff. I've got one on Germany, I've got one on Ireland, I've got Saudi Arabian Dark Legend, I've got it all there. You know what I mean? I'll put the link to the description, the link to this video in the description for you. Go ahead and check out this channel, man. This channel's got some great stuff on it, I tell you. Great stuff. You know what I mean? And thing. But keep watching my stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Go to that educational section, click on that, and binge watch. Click on that and YouTube and simmer. I'm telling you. You know what? Take care of each other, man. You know what I mean? Take care of each other in these times, these crazy times. Cool runnings.